Good evening, guys. So today I won't be talking what mental health is because a lot of people they know what mental health is. Like in social media, it's all over. Awareness campaigns, people are talking about mental health, what mental health is. So today I'm mainly focusing on mental health in Zimbabwe. Why Zimbabwe? Because that's where we live. Like that's who we are. We are Zimbabweans. So firstly, we need to change mental health situations in our country first before we go or before we touch other countries, because our country is the foundation of who we are. So everyone is talking about mental health in Zimbabwe, but rates of people dying from suicide are increasing, and now the question is, where are we lacking as advocates? Because on social media, on radios, on television, people are just saying your mental health matters, your mental health matters. But at the end of the day, a lot of people are dying due to suicide. So the question is, where are we lacking as advocates? The thing is, we are mainly focusing on youth, hashtag the Mujolo pandemic, forgetting that those who are married are also victims of mental health and they need our support. There are people out there who do not know that they are victims of mental health. They think that drinking stress pills or taking alcohol, smoking cigarettes is part of their life, using it as an escapism from reality. The reality that they have financial problems. So the only way to get rid of their financial problems is to drink beer, get drunk, or to take pills, sleep, wake up tomorrow morning, facing another day. It has become their life routine, which is wrong, because when you take alcohol, tomorrow you get sober. Once you are sober, the problem that you escaped yesterday, you're going to face the problem on the next day. So people need to know what it means when we say mental health, what it means when we say mental health matters. It shouldn't be a thing that we just tell people that mental health matters and we do not educate them what mental health is all about. Because a lot of people from different communities, they believe that mental health is a mentally disorder whereby someone is living in streets, something like that, forgetting that mental health can also come in form of stress, can also come in form of anxiety, can also come in form of depression. So let's make sure that when we are telling people about mental health, let's educate them that mental health does not mean someone who's living in the streets or someone who needs psychiatric support, but everyone goes through a mental health phase, which is stress, anxiety, and depression. When educating people, let's tell them what mental health is, so that when they are stressed or when they're depressed, when they're going through anxiety moments, they know that their mental health is not okay. As Zimbabweans, let's try to pay attention when artists are performing. Sometimes they communicate to us through songs, but because we are enjoying the vocals, we tend to close our ears to words they will be pouring out. Let's normalize checking up on people who we think are happy with the life they are living, or whom we think are the strongest, because inside they're the weakest. So when advocating, no one should be left out. You know, a lot of people, they pour what's in their heart through interacting with others, through sharing their stories with others. But when it comes to artists, some of them, they pour their hearts through songs, through writing songs to people so that people get entertained. But some of their songs, it's actually something they are going through from the inside and they're trying to pour it out. But because we as Zimbabweans, we have a tendency of ignoring or thinking that they're the strongest, we ignore that and we just enjoy the beats, we dance to the beats, and not paying attention to the words the artist will be trying to communicate with us. Let's bear in mind that they are also humans, they also need our support. So when listening to songs, let's listen to what our artists are singing so that we don't lose them all. Because it's actually sad realizing that an artist released a song yesterday, but the day after yesterday you then hear that the artist committed suicide or died from suicide. the guilty conscience that I listened to the song was trying to communicate to me, but I didn't pay attention to it, will haunt you for life. So let's normalize checking up on artists, not just artists, but people out there who try to communicate even on social media. Like there was that trending joke like Irarizare. Irarizare, a lot of people they took it for fun, whereby someone was just saying Irarizare ndakarambwa nezuro shamwari, and then it disappears like that. But actually you find out that a lot of people were pouring what was inside of them through that joke. Like you'd find out someone saying Irarizare, I am depressed shamwari, right? It's actually a sign that the person is communicating to us that the person is going through depression, the person needs help. But because we are seeing it as a joke, we tend to ignore it. And once we ignore it, tomorrow we lose the person. So let's normalize to look at things that we call jokes or things that we take as unimportant because they are the most important things. They communicate to us. Primary students, university students, secondary students are dying from suicide. This is a sign that we also need to educate parents on the importance of mental health. A lot of parents, they do not know how to handle their children when they're at an adolescent stage. We need to educate parents on the importance of mental health. Signs that their children are not okay. Signs that um, their child is going through trauma, their child is going through depression, their child is going through stress, their child is going through anxiety. They need that education as well. Because uh people say I'm a 2K, like we are the new generation. There is a big difference between our parents' generation and our generation because we are facing different difficulties. We are facing different we are going through different phases. So parents they also need education on what mental health is so that they know how to take care of their children, um because mental health is also very important. On that note as well, children should know that crying in a corner is a sign that you are not okay and you need someone to talk to. It shouldn't be a habit that a child sits in a corner, cries himself out loud, and goes to bed. Tomorrow morning, the child wakes up, goes to school, there's no one to the child has no one to talk to. It shouldn't be something that is regarded as normal, but a child should know that this is a sign that my mental health is not okay. When I sleep too much, when I sleep little, when I eat too much, when I eat a little, it's also a sign that my mental health is not okay. When I shout at people for no reason, it's also a sign that my mental health is not okay. Children should be taught on the signs of mental health, what mental health is. um let's teach people that discrimination and not being a brothers or sisters keeper can cost someone's life. Let's protect the leaders of tomorrow. Youths are the leaders of tomorrow. Primary students are the leaders of tomorrow. University students are the leaders of tomorrow. Different youth in different communities are the leaders of tomorrow. Let us protect them. Youth, stop taking drugs. These are our advocates' words on daily basis. But have we tried to look at life from their perspective and understand the reason behind their behavior? No. What we want is a generation free of drug and substance abuse. What if we try to create employment for them? Let's think of projects they can do so that they keep their mind occupied, hence less time for drug cravings. Let's not ask people to drop a habit without bringing a solution to things that are leading them into taking drugs. Let's not disown those who are drug addicts. Yes, they are drug addicts. So what's next? Should we leave them in streets or should we tell them that rehabilitation centers are there to help them? Let's tell them that counseling services are for free. Let's tell them that there is life after addiction, and let's try and encourage them. For how long are we going to continue arresting drug dealers? Rather, let's empower them. Um, Imagine I am a drug dealer. On daily basis, when I sell drugs, I get $100, right? And then someone comes to me saying that stop selling drugs, you are destroying our youth's future. Imagine, like I'm saying that I earn $100 per day because I sell drugs. And someone comes and tells me that stop selling drugs, you are destroying our children's future. Do you think that I'm going to listen to that person? Because what will come into my mind after that person says that is, if I stop selling drugs, how am I going to take care of my family? You know, when we are approaching such people, drug dealers, people who are into drugs, let's phrase them, or let's try approaching them saying, I will help you start a farming project, then you stop selling drugs. What do you think about that? I'm sure that a person who has common sense will say, oh, that's a good idea. So if you think that from farming project I'm going to earn maybe $200 per day to take care of my kids, then I think that's a good hustle. Then I'm going to leave the hustle of selling drugs and get into the hustle of farming, because farming will actually generate more money than the hustle of selling drugs. So when we are, as advocates, when we are dealing with such people, let's try to replace the hustle they are doing with another hustle, so that when we approach them, it starts to make sense to them, rather than just facing them without bringing any solution. Trust me, guys, they won't listen to us. So, guys, when I was part of the like when I attended a youth conference in Argentina, I realized that in Zimbabwe, we have a lot of people who are good at creating video games. We have a lot of people who are educated to bring a change in Zimbabwe. Why not do something that other people out there are doing? Like, there is a company which created a video game which teaches school children on the effects of bullying, right? Um, the video game is like when you bully someone, or when someone is bullied and that person decides to commit suicide, they then come to you in your dreams, or they then come to you in form of ghost. So when the child is playing such a game, they get um the fear gets into them, and um they they no longer want to be victims of bullying. They then see the side effects of bullying, like bullying is bad, something like that. So I then thought to myself that in Zimbabwe we have a lot of people who are good when it comes to technology. Why not create video games that teach people on the importance of mental health? Why not create video games teaching people that when you commit suicide, your family is going to be troubled? This is how your family is going to be like. Your family, they're going to cry out loud. They're going to be hate with your actions. Suicide is not the only option. Let's try and create things that attracts youth, so that when someone is playing a video game, they then realize that this video game just taught me that committing suicide, or um, choosing a decision of dying from suicide, is not the best option. There are plenty of options out there. I have someone to talk to. There are different places I can visit to get mental health counseling. So let's try to create employment through creating maybe video games, through creating the many recreational parks in here in Zimbabwe. Let's use them to educate people. But when people come to a recreational center, they're there to play, They're there to swim. Let's teach them the importance of mental health while they are relaxed. That way they'll listen to us more. So guys, lastly, I just want to say together we can fight mental health in Zimbabwe. So today I wasn't mentioning what mental health is, but I was just bringing out points and ideas where we need to focus more on as Zimbabweans, where we need to change more when it comes to the mental health sector as Zimbabweans. There are a lot of foundations, there are a lot of organizations focusing on mental health. But if we don't focus on the ideas I've just brought out, if we don't focus on the pointers I've just brought out, then we will lose a lot of people at the end of each and every day. Remember, mental health is a battle, and we are in this together. And we're actually blessed that in Zimbabwe it's not a taboo to mention the word mental health. Like in other countries, I realized that in other countries, when you talk about mental health, they tell you that it used to be a taboo in this country. But the way you brought out what mental health is starting to make sense to us. So, guys, let's normalize checking out on our friends, family, relatives. Be a brother's keeper, be a sister's keeper. Take 5 minutes of your time to listen to your friend. Take 5 minutes of your time to check what people are posting on social media. If they're actually trying to communicate with you, or are they just doing it for funny? Let's be able to distinguish between reality and what's fake on social media, because what we regard sometimes as fake is actually what someone might be going through. And let's also normalize checking up on people we think are the strongest. Thank you.